Alafu kwa ballot mazee show up mazee. And that's what we're saying. This election 39% ya youth mazee lazima mu turn up, because just the same way it has been exposed hapa kwa Ridimos unasikia watu wanasema kwa roho yako uko hapo kwa nyumba ukisema nataka nani akue president aki mimi napenda tu sera zake tosha. You don't show up at the ballot, then what? Na atajipigia kura ama ni sisters zake watampigia kura. You gotta show up, man. And we're talking about issues. Tumesema we're not showing up for an individual, we're showing up for the issues. Nani ndio amebeba issues zako vizuri? Nani ndio ana articulate zile mambo zenye unataka, zile sera zake zenye zimekubamba mpaka unasema you know what, this guy I like. You remember when we were at Strathmore and I picked issue with nikauliza say, why are you voting?
I remember
39% youthful. So of course tuko Strathmore, so unajua hapa ni exactly target audience ni my youth. Nikauliza why are we showing up? You are 9th kuamka unaenda kwa ballot kufanya nini? Them very interesting, very lovely girl akaniambia me I'm going to vote because I've seen somebody who's a deputy president, a lady, you know, and I've been following her politics na nimesema the fact that she's a deputy president ako hapo kwa nini as a lady. Nikasema wow, that's very interesting. Nikasema na sera gani haswa? Sema no I just did yeah. It's just her. Na nikasema sema youth must we must dig deeper than the personality. Kwa sababu there are so many issues. Ukiweka your whole hopes, your whole eggs kwa mtu mwenye hata ujui ni nini exactly and stand for and how they're going to execute these things.
And even a woman, maybe mtu unataka kuvutia, I'm sure she's done some things. Unaweza sema unamvutia kwa sababu alienda akasaidia sijui liberation, sijui mambo ya constitution. And I'm really excited about this conversation because we've been highlighting different sectors. Mambo ya education, we've been talking about the issues in the education sector. Tumebonga story environment, which we will continue today. Tumebonga story ya foreign policy, mambo ya violence, mambo ya also election, basically encouraging guys to vote. Remember guys, this is an amazing initiative courtesy of NYC, UNDP, Kenya Daima, Kwapevona Ministry of Devolution, UNDP, and guys, democracy, deepening democracy is actually the hashtag when you share with us some of the issues that you're going through in whatever region you are in this country.
Leo tunataka kuongea juu ya environment and climate change, and in studio tuko na two youthful people, young people. Moja anaitwa David Shamala, is a community advocate and human rights activist. Karibu sana Morning Vibes. Karibia mic, usiogope, karibia usiogope. Karibu sana David.
Asante sana.
All right, David Shamala there, and we're also joined by Faith KILONZO, a climate change expert, and ufanya kazi na Nyeri volunteers and Spice Warriors. Spice Warriors.
Yes, Spice Warriors.
Spice.
Thank you.
Spice Warriors mnafanya?
It's an NGO. It's a climate change mitigation group, where it's youth led by Anita Soina. And we have different chapters in all counties whereby we go and coordinate activities to do with the environment in different schools, maybe in different public institutions, and lead this conversations on climate change. Yes.
And David, you are a community advocate and human rights activist. Hii kazi ulianza lini na kwa nini?
So hii kazi nilianza 2016. So I started working in the community-based organization called FANIS at that time. And then I went to African Rising. It's a Pan-African movement working for peace and justice, where I served as a treasurer and a board member for 2.5 years. And I'm also now serving as a country director of Ameshima. Ameshima is a Canadian-based organization working on the issue of education, leadership, and talent, as well as I'm a board member of Siasa Place.
All right, so lady, gentleman, nataka tuongee na kumbuka unaweza mix English Kiswahili. Faith unajua kishengsheng hapo kidogo. Tunaongea na wazee ama mzee, kila mtu ako nini, ako wax na lugha ya taifa inamixiwa na Kiswahili kidogo. Let's talk about the environment. What is the state? Wewe unafanya kazi ya in Spice Warriors. Nini imewalead paka mmesema we need to save the environment? What challenges umeona hapo down kwa nini mtaz?
First of all, tunaona the experts wako wengi sana. But kwanza let me like say I'm not a climate change expert. Sababu sisi as Spice Warriors, we are just youth who are passionate about changing the situation stopping the same in the environment. And you find that people on these tables, people are pushing these policies, but on the ground, on the grassroots levels, hakuna like mtu anajitokeza. So tumejitokeza sisi wenyewe huku kwa grassroots tufanye hizi mambo, like we save the environment, we talk about climate change kwa watu, because very few people know about climate change ukienda huko mtaa. So most of the challenges that we're facing in terms of like actually formulating our goals and objectives, ni maybe finances, because most times it's just volunteer work and you have big projects that are quite ambitious, but as much as the policies to protect the environment ziko azija implementiwa fiti.
Nice. Now umesikia David Kenya Faith amesema tuko na policies fiti. Kevin, we're always talking about policies. Tuko na constitution fiti, policies pia ndio hizo fiti, lakini haziimplementiwi. Na unapata hapo sasa ndio akina Faith wanajitolea, wanaenda ku sort out whatever they can be able to. We're talking to youth, and we're talking how youth need to be part of the conversation. Kwa nini unaona especially kitu environment, my youth wanafaa kuwa kipaumbele?
Unajua my youth, we are being told that we are the future leaders, future generation. So tukiambiwa environment, if you're not taking care of the environment, in long term itatu consume sisi kama ma youth.
So consume,
wale wazee watakuwa wameshaenda, so sisi ndo tutaumia. So it's a global conversation, and I think now is the youth now to come up, now to gang together so that we can vote for people who are pushing for climatic conservation.
Faith, you jumped in there and you said isha to consume.
Yes. The other day Antonio Guterres, that's the UN Secretary General, alisema he was actually apologizing to us, the youth, because hizo generations za kitambo, the ancestors, they actually wametupeleka mbali, we are so far, but their production was not sustainable. Sahi, when we talk about protecting and conserving the environment, we're not doing it for us. Yes, it's for us, but also for the future generations. Sababu, as much as we are being told sorry, we don't want to tell sorry to the future generations. The earth doesn't need saving. Tunahitaji ku conserve. We think of new productive ways and innovative ways, ndo tusiendelee kujeka kwa mess, because it's really a big conversation.
In terms of unajua mavijana wengi niko sure waelewi yani just how crazy it is right now in terms of climate change and how the environment maze ina look bad. The environment is talking to us and it's telling us that there's an emergency. So we'll talk about that relationship between climate change and the environment.
Climate change and conservation. Climate change, tuna temperatures in a rise. The people from
hapa Nairobi zina drop. As in unajua bebe in climate change. Let me tell you something. Okay. Uliza an average Kenyan mwenye grow up tuseme hapa Nairobi. Temperatures may change.
Yeah.
Completely. It never used to be this cold.
Yeah.
In July.
Yes. It was cold, lakini see temperatures paka una mtu wako UK anasema I'm going back to Europe to catch sun. So we are seeing ukiona vitu ka rain, for example.
Study tourism inaisha jezi temperatures, because we would have like watalii wanakam.
Uliza watu wa coast temperatures zao ziko aje.
Yes, I was in coast last week and it was really cold. It was actually raining and it was not enjoyable as much. Going back to the conversation on climate change and conservation, as much as the temperatures are rising and falling, we're having droughts. There's asal regions, tuliona prezo wakipeleka relief food. There's a lot, and ukiona kuna climate change, as in like climate change ni due to poor conservation culture. This is what we are paying for through climate change.
Ukisema poor conservation ni nini hiyo tuja conserve ndio sasa environment ina change.
Unaona zile like the hills, the forests that used to be there kitambo. People have cut them, and if people are planting trees, they're just planting trees maybe for the beauty, ama they're planting the trees for fruits, ama to get money. Most people are not planting trees for good use, like maybe protect the environment, because we have trees like indigenous trees that actually serve to the ecosystem. Kuja tuseme uende Ukambani, where I'm from, upande mti yenye inafaa kumea in Kisumu, you're actually depriving that land its rights. Sababu hiyo land haiwezi conserviwa na something that is foreign. So that conservation culture is what we do not have. People are planting trees, but also people are using plastic straws every day.
Yeah, that's true.
Sasa kupanda mti aita lipia.
Is it possible to reverse the damage? Sasa useme hapa hivi kulikuwa na forest cover, alafu sasa hivi guys wamekuja wakeka kwa shamba. So is it possible to say, okay, this government is now reclaiming the land, tunapanda mamti tena and make it as natural and as productive as it used to be? Is it scientifically right to say that? Unaweza reverse the process?
We have conversations of that. The developing countries are actually asking for damage control for what has happened to us because of colonialism. But also, most times when the government is imposing these rules, there's the issue of rights. What wanafukuzwa kwao? People come and tell you, this forest, we need to grow trees here, but then there's no local buy-in. So it's possible. We can be able to, like, kutoka huko, like, we can now conserve this forest. We say we protect them, but also education is really important. And participation in, like, easy policies za kucreate hizo ma area.
Now, niko na swali nataka kuuliza ma MVP. As of course we continue this conversation, remember you're on Morning Vibes, 21 minutes to 10 a.m. There's one country that, of course, one of the big issues with climate change ni release of CO2. Carbon emissions into the atmosphere for various reasons. Labda munafanya factories, labda munakatakata miti, so hizo miti zenye zinafaa kuwa ziko consume hiyo carbon dioxide haziko, right? We're talking about so many reasons as to why CO2 emissions zinafaa kuwa very up there. There are some countries, of course, that release more CO2 than others, including US, China, the big fives, guys, right? And then there are countries like Kenya that are barely removing CO2 emissions, right? But are still facing the impact of climate change. So whatever is happening there in China is still affecting what's happening here. But then there's one country that has even surpassed their consumption of CO2. They're carbon neutral.
Oh, okay.
They don't release CO2. It's all consumed, so they are not impacting in fact, if anything, they're releasing more oxygen than any other country.
Okay.
Can you tell me which country this is? Hit me up on the hashtag.
Does it count for us?
Kwambooks and Kev.
Vote for our Kenya. Vote for the youth policies. Vote for opportunities. Vote for the truth and values. Vote for transformation. Vote for everything good. Vote for your neighbor. For me and for you.
Right, ya vote so that future you are bright. The key to ya exercise killer day, killer night. Don't let you vote, everything will be alright. This is our nation, this is our life. Dear youth generation.
Hii ni home yako, you don't need an invitation. Kenya ni ya kwetu and that calls for celebration. This is our nation, this is our nation, this is our nation.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu kwa juhudi za National Youth Council, sauti ya vijana.
Catch the vibes on air and online.
Ngarambo sali ulikuwa mtoi? Ulikuwa ngarambo ama ulikuwa komando?
Ilikuwa nini komando?
Of course ulikuwa komando. Kwani ushago kila mtu alikuwa komando. Ulikuwa mtoi.
Why you asking Shila?
Why would they
Sky kukarambo?
Lakini wacha niulize, ushago bado mnapenda kuacha watu watembee. Anavalishwa tu t-shirt.
Unachukua tu mjola hapo bila. Mimi nilikubede, that's a good question.
104.5 FM Nairobi, Pan Vibes Radio.
Nilikuwa napenda kwa Van Damme. Nakumbuka Van Damme.
Lakini first ulikuwa komando. Tunajua wewe ushatuambia. Schwarzenegger ushatuambia. All right, of course you're tuned into Morning Vibes 16 minutes before we step out of the studio. Very excited because vibes inashika tu hapa just nice.
All right.
Now, before we took the break, of course we're hanging out with Faith Kilonzo. Amesema kwao ni huko Kambani. Salimia watu wa Kambani tafadhali.
Hi guys.
Wacha hizo zako. Wacha hizo zako.
Hi guys.
Okay, let's vote Andumbe when we do that during the August elections. The leaders are us. Let's stop the same with our leaders.
Even though salimia hakuna aujui Kikamba?
Kikamba kuna watu wanabonga English.
You relax Nyash. Do you know Kikamba?
Yes, it's easy to talk Kikamba when the conversation is in Kikamba.
You get it.
Hold sound nikuna bonga.
Galloway.
American English, Galloway.
Galloway.
Okay.
Galloway. I'm learning the accent.
And that's the beauty about Kenya.
Yeah,
every day we're learning new things.
Yeah. Right. Mimi napenda my languages za ushago za home. Ziu kwanga fiti sana. David hapa anasema please don't turn to me. I do not know the language. David, ushago kwenu unaona nika watu fanya conservation?
Yeah, what to find.
Farming is because farming also plays a big part in conserving the environment, and we've had conversation around unsustainable farming practices zina lead to more damage to the environment than good. For example, ukona mention hizo mamiti zenye zinaplantiwa, unapata place pali wako na shortage ya mvua, wameplant hizi miti zenye that need a lot of water. Are we doing sustainable farming?
I think sustainable farming is something new that some company are coming up with. We have a company called Total Organic Promise. Is trying to integrate, maybe train farmers on how to grow food from organic fertilizer. So those are some of the practices that people are doing to ensure that they're able to conserve the soil itself, and also to keep the environment clean. As well as we find that we also have young people groups in campuses that are doing some good, amazing work in terms of planting trees, cleanliness, and also cleaning up the community and also the town to ensure that it's clean.
Yeah,
which is really good,
really great.
How important is it for young people, especially wale ukevo manyumbani bana, because you know very well that sisi ndo majority kwa country yetu Kenya. We're about 70%. Why is it important for them to learn that conserving the environment is key for them to have a productive future?
Yeah, because when you're talking about young people, we're talking about the people maybe they're looking for opportunities in terms of agriculture, in terms of in tourism, in terms of maybe we call it green jobs. So it's important for them to maybe conserve the environment, because the future of everything is about environment. So if you're able maybe to keep the environment, we'll have maybe floods, we'll have droughts, so you cannot maybe practice those agricultural practices, maybe to earn an income or another thing. So it's a key in terms of, because when you're talking about agriculture, it's like 33% of the GDP for the economy.
Opportunities more.
So the biggest sector that youth can focus is in agriculture.
And also tourism, which has also been adversely affected by climate change. You see that a lot of hatuwezi anza ati feed the lions initiative. Tunaweza lakini wecheka tuna wildebeest migration by then anza this weekend uko nini Masai Mara. You can imagine how many people from all across the world want to come and see this. But if kama tuseme hizo rivers dry up, zitakuwa zina cross nini? Zitaenda TZ na hazitairudi. Unanielewa? So there's a lot of impact. We have 39% of the vote in this next election. You've spoken about policy. But for the average Kenyan, hailewi kwamba that the impact of the environment ina impact venye hata mfuko yako itafeel, right? So for
100%.
example, we just recently seen unga ikimportiwa. Right? We know that the Horn of Africa is currently facing a severe drought. Right? And it's not just the Horn of Africa, it also extends towards Iraq. Some countries on that side also facing devastating drought. Like for Iraq, it's devastating. The whole country is facing a drought, right? Then you have other parts of the world where there's massive flooding. Noah times kind of flooding, right?
Heat waves.
And then you have heat waves in other parts of the world, right? And you see, and then other parts of the world, some insane freezing. I'm talking about Nairobi. So there is an impact. Na haifanyiki tu just within the borders of Kenya. Kuna global agreements zenye si uingia. Now it seems that young people have to put the pressure. Mbona tunaona when it comes to global, and shout out to Anita, and I love the work that she does. Why are we only seeing around the globe who's pushing for the environment conversation? Young people.
It's truly young
right?
people,
People under the age of 20 are the ones who are saying enough, wacha kutupatia hapa panganga na history, hatuna chakula, and you're urgent about it. You need to paza sauti yako. So one way we can do that, right? What are some of the ways you'd suggest to young people to be a part of the conversation, especially from a policy side and also from the action side?
Kwanza, participation. Right now, the NYC is sponsoring. It's not sponsoring. It's actually giving opportunity for the youth to actually volunteer and make policies that advise their county priorities. And I think if you feel, of which there's that kuna hiyo shida, kuna hiyo gap, if you feel the environment is being affected, if you feel there is so much strength and there's so much potential from agriculture. Advise these policies, show us some of the ways actually that we can help you, that we can actually make your ideas turn into a project. And also another thing is planning accordingly. Actually just being able to like not only just go and do easy activities, but also lead this conversation, lead this awareness, represent us in international and also national like talks about the environment, and finally just show up in terms of being able to like even lead a lifestyle that is climate friendly.
Climate friendly.
Like that. David.
So maybe naona ni vizuri vijana kwanza, they have the access to information, they have internet, so it's important for them now to teach the community, their fellow young people about the effect of climate change, and how maybe they're going to conserve that climate on the local level. Before maybe we go to the UNEP or what maybe is important for us to focus on the community-based intervention.
But the Dave, quick one. Mavijana, are they excited to engage in climate conversations? Who can engage now?
Recently, but in the previous they were not maybe focusing on other maybe talent, but now
recently it's growing.
Growing.
That's exciting. That's hopeful.
And we need to all be a part of this. Now I want to go back to something Faith said. She said we need a culture of conserving the environment. I mean, it's one thing kuifanya out of love and say, oh my God, something, the world is coming to an end if we don't save the environment. Like you know, video pakenye na dance, and your attention is distracted. But kama sisi tungekuwa na hiyo culture, because if we're talking about saving the environment, it also starts with how you deal with the environment.
That's true.
We live in a country pali mtu anakula tu Kenya anakula anatupa nje ya dirisha. Guys, I've seen some crazy things. Nimeona mtu akitupa takataka from a balcony. That's how lazy we are. That's how utapata mtu akona sewage mbele ya mlango yake pale anapitia kila asubuhi ama takataka na hata fikiria, at first let me get rid of this garbage. Wata tushikane maniba wawili watatu alafu then now start demanding who should a system of how to make this happen. But I asked you, there's a country that has managed to be on zero emissions.
Which country is this?
Right? If anything, they're even removing more oxygen. So wanatoa oxygen for the rest of us, yani surplus, right?
Nice.
What is it about this country that makes it above the rest? With a population of 612,000 people.
Only come to Rift Valley.
The country is called Bhutan. Yes. Bhutan. Right? Like it's in the eastern Himalayas. It actually sits between two of the largest emitters of carbon. I'm talking about China and India. Inakaa hapo katikati hizo country mbili mbigi, right? But you can't tell me that these people just love conserving the environment because it's in the rules, it's in the law. Watapanishiwa. No. It's 83% Buddhist.
What?
This population is 84.3% Buddhist. What does this mean? They love the environment. They are trying to conserve the environment. Yani wakitembea pahali wanataka yani, ukipata mtu ametupa karatasi mbele yako, so unasema, ni nani huyu ametupa karatasi hapa? Watu hawana tabia and then jump over the karatasi na kuenda. You just take the responsibility. When you find something, if it's to water the plants, easy kupanda ma plants hapa kwa Uhuru Highway. Mkenya anaweza tu jitolea sema niko na hiyo skill.
You're mad. Hey, never.
Exactly. And that's the problem. Once we adapt it as our culture, right? Because
so it starts in what level in terms of adaptation?
It starts from elementary.
Babies.
Venye tuko kwa nyumba, umedecide wacha niende kwa supermarket ninunue roiko ingine, lakini ukasema, I don't want to get another container, another plastic. Exactly. And then now start demanding wasoriko mnafaa kuwa na dispenser ndio I replace my. Once we have that at that level, ndio easy changes zitaka ku happen. Lakini hata ukiweka dustbins hapo na mtu anatupa hiyo chewing gum nje ya dustbin.
Ama anaimba dustbin anana anatengeza nayo offense.
Ama unafikiria yoga tumeshakula nimeshiba. Umetupa hiyo paketi ya nini imeland kwa windscreen ya mtu nyuma yako. That is the reality. And you see, us as Kenyans can play a part to turn ourselves into Bhutan. Because them they're Buddhist, but apparently us we're majority Christian. And in the Bible, the Lord said unto Adam, take care of the
environment.
So, hiyo kitu yenye unafanya ni commandment ya God ama ulijipatia?
Vote for our Kenya, vote for the youth policies, vote for opportunity. the truth and values. Vote for transformation. Vote for everything good. Vote for your neighbor, for me and for you.
Right ya kuvote so that future iwe bright. Ni kitu ya ku-exercise kila day, kila night. Twende tukavote, everything will be alright. This is our nation, this is our life.
Hii ni home yako, you don't need an invitation. Kenya ni ya kwetu and that calls for celebration. This is our nation, this is our nation, this is our nation.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwenu kwa juhudi za National Youth Council, sauti ya